make a little refresher video on some naming conventions that we use in programming. The first one we'll talk about is Camel Case. We tend to use that one the most. And remember that Camel Case means our variables and names are going to be lowercase. But then if we have two or more words, we capitalize them. So multiple words, capitalize every word after the first word. So examples here might be first name. Name is the second word, so we put a capital N on the first name. If it was just name, it would be all lowercase. We wouldn't use any capitals. We also kind of do this. Well, I'm going to come back here in a minute. Let's go talk about Pascal Case. Pascal Case is when we capitalize every word. So, for example, we often see this. Now, it depends on your programming language, and it depends on where you work. Where do you use Camel Case? Where do you use Pascal Case? So, in Greenfoot, methods were named, and that's Java. Methods were named often with lowercase Camel Case. But in other languages, sometimes we use Pascal Case for methods. So, and again, it comes down to who you're programming with. Where do you work? What is their standard? But an example of this might be something like, maybe we have a method called reset the form. Okay, so we name it with Pascal Case. Or we have a class named birds. Okay, those are Pascal Case. When we capitalize every word, it's considered Pascal Case. So we often see a mix of this. We might have Camel Case for regular variables, Pascal Case for the names of classes in this case. Maybe our methods are named with Camel Case or they're named with Pascal Case, but we certainly won't mix them. You try to be consistent, right? So if you're in a place or using a language that uses Pascal Case for method names and function names, then you should use Pascal Case. If you're in a place or working for somebody where everything is Camel Case, you use Camel Case. Hungarian notation usually involves three-letter prefixes. So if we have a variable that holds a string, so let's go back to our first name example, we would put its data type in a 3-digit abbreviation followed by whatever other descriptive terms we want. So the first thing that happens is our data type followed by the name of the variable. So string first name, right, would be a string that holds somebody's first name. Now if you look at this, this is still following the rules. Of Camel Case, right? It's just that we're adding these 3-letter abbreviations in the front. So sometimes you'll see this, and it's Hungarian notation, but it's still using Camel Case. Let's see. Let's do another example. Int age, Hungarian notation. So let's go back to our Camel Case. We've done this all along in Visual Studio, and we haven't done it so much. I haven't emphasized doing it with variable names though. So we haven't used Hungarian notation in Camel Case with our variables, but we have been doing it with our controls, and that's a little more common. You have a text box where the person types in their first name. Okay. Camel Case, yes, it's Camel Case. I would also say it's Hungarian notation because we're describing the control that we're using. Some people would say Hungarian notation might only be for variable types. it's a mix, but understand what it is. Anytime you see Hungarian notation, you're talking about using prefixes that explain what the variable is, what its type is, or what type of control it is. Okay. Camel case always starts with lowercase everything, capitalize every word after the first word. Okay. Pascal case, every word gets capitalized. And the other one that we often, I don't know that we actually have a name in it, name for it, but constants. This is pretty common across just about every language that we'll be using. And maybe we should call it named constants. When you have a constant in your code, you don't usually use Camel case or Pascal case. You could still use Hungarian notation with this, but in general, named constants are all caps with underscores between words. And when we see something with all caps in almost any language that you're gonna learn here or in college probably, anytime you see all caps with underscores in, you can it's a pretty safe bet somebody's using a constant, a value that's been set and can't be changed. All right.